This is Valerie VanBooven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years of experience in the senior care industry share their advice. So let's get to it. In a few words, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Julia DelGreco-Cesana. I am the Director of Community Outreach with Preferred Care at Home. And in addition to that, I am the founder of Aging Care Options and Resources of Southwest Florida.
Nice. You have a busy schedule then, I would imagine.
I do.
That's a lot going on. Well, tell us, what is the best thing about serving aging adults?
Well, I'm a little biased. The aging population, I am, truly, they're my favorite demographic to work with. And I really firmly think it's, paying it forward and giving it back and just making sure that those that go before us, as they age, they receive the best quality of care and live the best quality life possible. So I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of that.
Well, I think that almost everybody I interview, I love hearing that because I hear it a lot. And I think if everyone in the world knew how many people are out there who absolutely adore our aging population and love working with them and make it their life's mission to work with them, or their career mission to work with them anyway, people would be amazed, because we have a lot of folks out there like you who are trying to make seniors' lives better every single day and trying to bring providers together to make seniors' lives better every day. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
In your life or in your professional career, there's probably been people or organizations that you think have really made a difference, that have really inspired you professionally or personally. Who would you like to talk about?
There's two. The first one being Hope Hospice. I work with them daily, being that, the folks that I provide service for, the seniors, typically what we see is medical diagnosis, that one might be failure to thrive. And we want to make sure that, their wishes are carried out. And Hope Hospice is extremely instrumental in making that happen. It is a definite benefit. It's not an additional stress that when folks do meet the criteria to be admitted to Hope Hospice services, there's, no out-of-pocket expense. So that really, at that point in time, for family members and for individuals, I think that's a saving grace. And they are intermittent in their services. And that's why, we do work tandemly, where my team is there with the everyday living tasks to better support the Hope Hospice team, which the end result being that those folks remain comfortable. They're not suffering. The family support is there. So again, that's truly a tandem effort. And then the other company is Mederi Care Tenders. And Mederi Care Tenders, they have a skilled division of registered nurses and the rehab division, PT, OT, speech, if you will. And there's a gal that I work with specifically, her name is Leanne, and she just goes above and beyond. She is 7 o'clock in the morning is no different than 7 o'clock at night. And if somebody needs help, she's there to help them. And she knows that I'm in line with that. So we work together to make sure that, if we see that folks do need additional support, being that it's nursing or to gain strength from PT or what have you, they go above and beyond. A Saturday is no different than a Monday. Like I said, 7 o'clock a.m. is no different than 7 p.m. And I think what, her passion that drives her is right in line with mine. If we can't help somebody, we find the help for them.
Yes.
So the buck doesn't just stop at our desk and say, okay, it's not in line or they didn't meet the criteria. So, those are the two organizations that I truly offer as resources when I'm out in the community, because I know that the right hand will know what the left hand is doing. That's super important. And the follow-up. So they sound simple. Follow-up sounds simple, but it's the absolute key. When you deal with human beings and folks, loved ones, you want to make sure that if you do refer it out, that they're going to be well taken care of. So those are the two organizations that I I tend to lean into to better support the folks in our community.
Well, it sounds like you've got all the bases covered. You've got you all that do the non-medical, the companion care, the personal care, the housekeeping and little laundry and errand running and just being a friend to that person and a
Hmm.
support to that person in the home, like meal preparation. And then you've got your home health care, which is doing more of the medical stuff or the physical therapy or the doctor's orders kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And then you have the end of life care. So you really have the whole gamut covered. And and that's awesome. And it's awesome that it's not just your company, that you are willing and you are working as a collaborative team in three different companies in three different capacities, and that you're willing to refer to each other. And that's what it's all about. I think I've had a few interviews lately where we've talked about that. We can view each other as competition, anytime. But as you know, living in South Florida, there are not enough, even though there is the competition, and there are lots and lots of home care agencies, lots and lots of home health care, lots of hospice, but there's never going to be enough companies to serve the amount of people who actually do need some care, or discover that they need care.
And to speak to that, Valerie, I think this new word, community outreach, is designed for people like myself. We're not salespeople. We're not marketers. Competition does not exist in my everyday life. Even though the home care arena is an absolute successful, revenue-driven business, there's those that get into it for revenue reasons, and then there's those that get into it for their passion.
Mhm.
And I think that people in the community pick up on, if you're genuine.
Mhm.
And so, those that do give referrals to grow the business, to offer employment to wonderful care providers, we all need that. But at the end of the day, it's just about doing the right thing.
Yes, it is, especially for those folks who have raised us, who have fought in wars for us, who have done all those amazing things that have come before us. It is doing the right thing, is making sure they're taken care of. So
That's
absolutely.
right. That's right.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about online marketing a little bit. COVID. Now, wait a minute. Let's back up. Florida has been pretty open for a while or forever. I don't know.
It really, yeah, forever.
It's never really shut down, right?
Yeah.
And so, and everybody I interview is in a different space. They're in a different state. California that's on complete shutdown. We have Florida that's like woohoo. So wherever you are, though, the last 18 months has been a challenge, and we've all had to work through that. I'm sure that people have been a little bit, even if the state's not shut down, I'm sure assisted living facilities and, places like that are like vulnerable population here. Careful, careful, careful. So networking in person has probably picked up for most of us. It's picked up in the last few months, but I know it's been challenging. So what has been your experience with online marketing, and community outreach through social media and all those other things that are out there?
So that's a nice segue into Aging Care Options and Resources, Southwest Florida.
Woo-hoo.
So the reason that I developed that group was because the door was closed to me. And so, again, I'm a person who wants to help others. And the only way that I could do that, even though our state was up and running for restaurants and stores, the healthcare facilities, per their own policy guidelines, more doors were closed than open. And actually, it is pretty similar at this current day. So, the online piece was to continue to connect with the appropriate folks, community outreach, to continue to support folks. And I find, my group was designed to help the seniors, and I thought that I would have more seniors become members of the group, but it's actually the reverse. I have more community outreach, other referral sources, other home care agencies, anybody that has anything to do in healthcare, truthfully. And then adult children that were taking care of or are taking care of their loved ones. So that's why I did develop the group. But I will tell you, home care, in my experiences through the pandemic, because the facilities did have to close the doors and isolate patients, if you will, residents, that in itself made a lot of family members look at where their loved ones were positioned.
Yes.
And so nobody expected the emotional destruction that it really caused to our seniors. And so a lot of times people think that maybe it hurt our industry, but even though, you know, we want to practice universal precautions, I can't tell you how many calls I was getting in the trenches of the pandemic and currently to break mom or dad out of ABC facility because emotionally speaking, they were so lonely. Those that suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's, they lost that structure to their day, which then heightened their confusion and anxiety. And then the loss of muscle mass because they weren't able to get out and about as they normally did. So, you know, people have really been, and I'm an advocate, wherever home is the best fit for you. If it's a facility, great. If it's your residential home, great. But, you know, to answer your question, our biggest challenge is finding enough care providers to go out to the homes because the increase is there due to the pandemic. But then on the flip side, recruitment, right? Because they all have families and they want to be cautious and they don't want to be going into facilities taking care of folks and getting COVID and bringing it back home. So the virtual piece, as you initially said, is crucial at this point in time to continue those relationships, to find the resources, and to look at different ways how to reach those objectives of healthy mind, soul, and body for our seniors and our care providers, but doing it in a different way.
Yes, absolutely. And to your point about bringing people home, my dad is a young man, considering how old people normally are when they go to a nursing home. He's 71, with vascular dementia. And he was in a nursing home for almost 2 years, or maybe 2 years total. And about 6 months in, 7 months into the pandemic, his wife took him out and brought him home because you could see no matter how many FaceTimes we did, no matter how hard that activity therapist worked, there was no way that what we were doing could replace his interaction with humans outside of the nursing home or being locked in his room. Not locked in his room, but isolated.
No, they were isolated. Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's super hard. And I think part of that was the dementia piece for him. On the flip side of that, and so he is home, but he is mobile and his medications control, his dementia fairly well. So he can read books and I've taken him fishing and, things like that. So we can do those things now. On the flip side of that, my husband's mother is in a nursing home and they've been in and out of lockdown. People have COVID, people don't have COVID, whatever, but she's got her faculties about her. She understands what's going on, but she's completely immobile from the waist down. Like she's just, it doesn't walk. So she's had to stay there because we don't have a home where we can take care of her that way.
To accommodate her needs. Yeah. Yeah.
She has to have 24-hour care. So, but she's with it and she's okay. And she can watch TV and we go to the window and visit, or we go visit outside on the patio, or we, do whatever. So I know she would love to have us visit more, but she is okay. We can talk to her on the phone every single day. She has her own cell phone. I mean, so everybody has to make a different, decision. But I would agree with you that for a lot of people, yanking folks out of that nursing home or assisted living facility even has been the way they've had to go, because the failure to thrive for my dad just went through the roof. I mean, you could see him aging right before your eyes.
Yeah.
And back to the point of internet marketing, and forming groups of folks that don't have to meet, if you can't get into the facility, people can come out of the facility to meet and safely meet, or online meet, or Zoom meet. And I think that's become a great alternative. it's not where we all want to be necessarily. But on the other hand, doing interviews like this or meeting with a bunch of people in a Zoom meeting or whatever platform you choose has been a great way for people to not have to drive somewhere, but they can still get on a meeting and talk to each other.
I think that employers are getting a big bang for their buck with the virtual. I think that, you know, we are able to spend more time being productive at our desks, so to speak, because those of us in home care, healthcare, we're on the road. There's a lot of windshield time that's involved. And so, you know, if you look at the positive in a negative situation, it does allow for more time to produce work and to help other people. Again, like you said, it's just done in a different way. And I do want to say this, you know, it's all up to the individual as far as residents and facilities and what works for some and what doesn't work for others. But I think the big kicker here is this pandemic has affected the ones providing the care, the nurses, the CNAs, the homemaker companions, and the facilities are in the midst of a pandemic. They're short-staffed more so than they have been, which is an always ongoing challenge. And so it made things look differently.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so now as this, you know, especially here in Florida, as we see our numbers increasing, I think fortunately, but unfortunately, we had a trial run on how to better serve our seniors during a pandemic. We kind of have learned what worked, what didn't work. And so as the numbers are currently increasing, I think the decision makers have a lack of a better word, a blueprint for success to get through the challenging times, whether it's this current pandemic or what we're going to face in the future. We've now gained that experience to, you know, to sum it up, to network referral sources, to add additional resources virtually, to check on our loved ones virtually. You know, those that are, you know, 70, 80, and 90 years old, you know, before the pandemic, they didn't know what Zoom was. They didn't know what Duo was. You know, this was not, we maybe did this at holidays as a treat. And now it's truly an everyday way of life for employers and families, and certainly for our seniors. So it's much bigger than just the business world now.
Absolutely, yeah. And our seniors have become very resilient and shown that they're very capable of learning new technologies from their phone or their tablet or whatever they're using. It's great to see yoga classes and all kinds of crazy stuff happening on Zoom with seniors that we thought, you know, they didn't know what a smartphone was 2 years ago, but now they definitely know. So.
Yeah, and now they're pros.
Yeah,
and now they're pros.
Yeah. So what piece of advice would you give to other senior care providers out there?
Do not go into this industry without the passion in your heart. Don't go into this industry because it's a recession-proof business. People will always get sick. People will always pass away. So it is recession-proof, but it is not the reason to go into this industry. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been with companies that, you know, I'm right in line with their mission, and they really, it's just not something on the wall. They actually participate in it with actions every day. But, you know, this is not one of those industries where, as an example, you know, you say, okay, I'm going to go into the home care business as an owner, or, you know, maybe a part of the inner office team. This is a huge responsibility. It's tremendous. And so, you know, if you're in it for the wrong reasons, unfortunately, at the end of the day, your actions directly impact somebody's life.
Yeah, absolutely, they do.
So I've even had, again, 25 years. I think that I don't think I've not heard it or not seen it or, been a part of it. But if you are somebody that wants to be a care provider, and you don't show up for work, somebody might go without medication that they can't go without. And they could suffer some amazing consequences. It's different, if you work at a movie theater and you call off of work, well, they can always call somebody in to serve the peanuts and the popcorn. It's not going to hurt anybody. But in this industry, it's no joke. If you're going to make this commitment, you've got to make sure that it's from the heart and your best interest is more about others than yourself.
Yes, absolutely. It is a full 100%. You're either all in or you're going to end up being all out one way or another, I think. Yeah, and the people you hire and the people you trust to help you run the business also have to have a good heart.
I will tell you, I think, to really answer this question in the most honest way, I have seen business owners that have come into this arena saying, wow, it's a 24/7 business. It's quite a lucrative business to be in. And, the only thing we need to do is hire people to put them in mom and pop's home to help with their everyday living tasks. And they do not do the appropriate justice to making sure they might pass a criminal background check, but they might be somebody that's absolutely not accountable to be at work or to go to work and to fall asleep, or to go to work and be on the cell phone and not engage with the seniors. And if you do not do the right thing, even on the care provider side, to get on into this business as an owner, not so sure you're going to sleep so good at night.
Yeah. And it trickles down. I mean, the company culture trickles down from the top. So your attitude and your position will be reflected in the people who are walking into that house.
Yeah, and I think those that come into this business, if I could say, it's really about quality care providers, quality office staff, quality leadership, taking care of your own, that take care of others, and not lean into increasing billable hours just to get the clients, to fill the shifts. I think any successful business owner that I know, one man, his name is John Keene, and he's gone before us now. He was the owner of Interim Healthcare in Farmington, Connecticut. And that man did it right. He really led with passion and care. And then the revenue followed. I mean, he was a millionaire, but the revenue followed. But he just did the right thing. And he took the time to hire quality people, do the right thing, and then everybody benefits.
Yeah. And I think right now when you mentioned staffing and retention, we're in a situation right now where our caregivers have a choice. They have lots of choices. So the way you treat those caregivers, the way you treat that staff, as challenging as it can be on some days, dealing with humans. I mean, we're all humans dealing with humans can always be a challenge. But the home care agencies that I find, everybody's struggling. There's no doubt about it. But the home care agencies that I find that do the best with the right caregivers that stay are the ones who almost take the approach of, or have someone in the office who takes the approach of house mother. And I know that sounds weird. But
no, it sounds right. It's absolutely correct. Yes.
Because you need somebody who is a little bit more mature, who understands that life is going to bring you lemons as often as possible. And what you do with that is up to you. So so I see owners who are the house mother, or they have someone on their staff, and they listen to, my car broke down, I can't feed my kids today, or whatever, or my kid is sick, or I don't have daycare. And they try to work as best they can with those folks to help them through not just, coming to work, but other life issues that might occur. You can't do everything for everybody, but you can be a resource. You have
to be a mentor and a resource to care providers. The demographic of CNAs, home health aides, and care providers, they are typically young females, moms. And, they are under so much stress at the home front.
Yeah.
And you're right. Stacey Adams is my boss. And there has been many a times that she has stepped up to pay for an Uber to get, over the obstacle so that care provider can get to the elderly person in need of care. We can deal with the broken down car after the shift.
Yes.
But then the care provider didn't lose pay that she needs to provide food to her family. So you're right. There needs to be that mentor, that support system from the internal home care agency on the other end, understanding that lemons do happen in life. You're right. They do, Valerie.
As
It's
often
just
as they
every
can,
day.
right?
Absolutely. We live in a world of lemons. We're swimming in lemons. And so you do have to come up with, it's an easy word, but it's a solution.
Yeah. Yep.
But I used to be a director of a certified nursing assistant school, home health aid school, if you will. And even just to get through the program to become a certified nursing assistant, it's a 16-week program. The girls had challenges because their only job wasn't a care provider. They were also moms.
Yes.
So home care, health care, it's much bigger than the average person can even wrap their head around. And it is a 24/7 business. And our seniors, a lot of them are fall risks. So they do need that care overnight to remain safe. And so even to find care providers that can work for overnight shifts to support our seniors from fall prevention, or because a facility is running short-staffed and they have residents that are fall risks, they don't even have people to work third shift.
Right.
So this is, a lot of people do, and I commend you for doing these types of podcasts, Valerie, because we need to get the information out there so that we can all collectively work together to come up with solutions. And that just goes back to, again, why do people get into this business? Because they're very passionate about it. And when you're passionate about it, it is your job, but it doesn't seem so much like work. It's a challenge to get through it together, whether it's on the care side or the recruitment side or during a pandemic, if you will,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a heart-centered business for sure, and it can be, like you said, it can be very lucrative, but it doesn't come without a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears along the way. So absolutely,
Yeah.
I think people.
I always say, Valerie, this industry chose me. I did not choose it.
It is a calling. I mean, truly, if you talk about calling, it is definitely a calling.
It is.
So, all right, last question is a fun one. When you have a win in life or in business, how do you like to celebrate?
Me personally?
Either personally, professionally, it could be a wedding, it could be a birthday, an announcement of some kind, it could be a new client that's happy and the family's so relieved, it could be whatever you want to celebrate.
All right, so we'll stick with the business of, signing on board a client for services. So the cherry on top for Julia is if I go and maybe write a contract for 24/7. Well, that's the 168 hours, and that's the best you can do in the home care arena, right? And I guess the celebration is just really sitting there and realizing that, I helped somebody today tremendously. I made my boss really happy. And then I afforded the opportunity for first shift, second shift, and third shift for care providers to generate a paycheck to provide for their family. So I sit in that.
Yeah.
And
like 5 families all at once.
Yeah, like I mean by getting one signature for 168 hours a week, it's not just about me feeling successful in my job, but my gosh, I got somebody great care and I'm helping people to support their families.
Yes.
And so that's pretty big. That's so
right.
I don't go out and drink wine. I don't, I don't buy myself a new handbag. I sit in the humility of helping a lot of people due to my direct efforts.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling when you get in the car and you just think, some good things are going to happen for a lot of people today. We're going
Yeah.
to a lot of good things happen. So
And
yes.
I mean, I don't think you can walk away with any more of a celebration than knowing that you were an instrument in helping a lot of people. And you know what? It's even the adult children. You know, I'm like the saving grace when I come along and daughter has been taking care of her mom who suffers from Alzheimer's. And instead of being able to be daughter, she's been daughter and care provider, and she loves her mother, but she's burnt out, and she hasn't had any time to go and maybe get a mani or a pedi, or maybe just to sit and read a book or take a nap. And, you know, you walk out of their home and they feel when you are genuine. And I say to them, you know what? No worries, Valerie, I'm going to make sure your mom is well taken care of, and you're going to get that break, and you can just feel it. So even in that in itself, I mean, this job is extremely rewarding every day, even if you don't get a 168-hour contract. If you help somebody take a shower for 1 hour a week because they're seniors, I mean, what's better than that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just it's the little things that go a long way. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for doing this interview and for being on the show and helping us learn more about what you do and also the organizations that you represent, but also your wisdom. That's what this is all about, is sharing the wisdom of veteran healthcare providers and people who have been in the industry for a long time, help others learn from their years of experience. So thank you.
And if I may, Valerie, because I do honestly believe in the group that I, founded, I would love to encourage the listeners. Again, it's Aging Care Options and Resources, Southwest Florida. It's a private group. You do have to answer some, general questions to be a participant of the group, but it's really a safe forum to ask questions, to find resources. And then again, Stacey Adams, my boss, I want to put a plug in there for her. Why? Because I actually hired her company to take care of my grandmother.
Nice.
And, there's a lot of owners out there that, they don't do the right thing, and she does. So I think Preferred Care at Home, I should sing their praises. They have great care providers, and people like yourself, you're appreciated as well. So it's a good day in Southwest Florida for everybody, I got to say. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we will put your Preferred Care at Home and your organization in the Southwest Florida. I know you've said it 30 times, but say it one more time.
It's a tongue twister. Aging Care Options and Resources, Southwest Florida.
All right. Well, we will put that information with your interview too, and hopefully you'll share this with the group so people can get to learn more about you and about what you guys do. So I will absolutely make sure that everyone has all those links so they can get a hold of you.
And Valerie, I'm looking forward to working with you on and on and on. I've heard wonderful things about you, and I'm flattered that you had me today. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.